Got this box today. I believe this is the VX1000, so let's see. Wow. Wow, dude. Edit search button, gone. VCR, not functioning. Wild. That this contest was with the VX1000, which is a camera that I used for a really long time. To me, that was really special. Jamie Owens, on behalf of Red Bull, pitched this idea to Andrew Cannon, who's the Santa Cruz brand manager, and myself and Eric Palazzolo, who's the team manager. And the idea was to get this VX1000 with one tape inside, and you cannot rewind and you cannot eject the tape. So you have like one tape to get as much stuff as you can get. I just thought that was so cool and just such an interesting challenge. I was instantly, he said VX1000, and I was like, all right, I'm intrigued.
I kind of didn't like understand it at first because it was like, there's no rules. So it was like, kind of hard to wrap my head around. Us only having one tape and it's 60 minutes kind of seemed crazy. So honestly, I had no strategy coming into this.
I grew up like loving skate videos, and then when skate videos started getting shot on the VX1000 with this lens that was like a game changer for me. I was like, damn, that's the way. And I filmed a bunch of videos before I started working for NHS in Santa Cruz with this camera to kind of be able to revisit working with this camera and to have one that works really well, and there was no like weirdness with like trying to get it to focus or anything. Everything just worked perfectly. It was just really cool. The idea of having one tape, it's cool. It adds pressure to it, and I was just instantly like, let's do this. And then that's when we started kind of talking like with the creative team and all these people, and we started getting all these ideas together. Basically, like Lee Charon and I were like, let's just go at this full force. Like we'll just throw all these ideas at the wall and we'll come up with something that sticks. I used to work on Strange Notes back in the day with Lee, and so for me and him to like work together again was really cool. He's just like a creative genius. We kind of had like three main ideas that we were centered on. One was kind of like gonna be sort of like a trip through Nashville, and it was gonna end up in this like weird sort of like honky-tonk or like bar scene, but it was gonna be like skate and create style, with just like weird stuff going on. And then the other idea was to have like, it was called Too Many Jakes, and it was basically gonna be just like a whole segment of like all these Jake imposters with Jake, and like you never know which Jake is which, and they're all just kind of skating at the same time. And then we had this other idea to do like a one-shot line where it was just like continuous. And so we ended up kind of just being like, hey, let's just do all of those things together, you know, and sort of the idea was to make it one line that goes through 6th Avenue and then all the way through the venue. Almost like Birdman, the movie, was kind of like Lee threw that out there as sort of like the inspiration. Kind of have some like jazz drumming going on, and it's like this one shot where it's like going through this whole place and there's all this weird stuff happening. We were just like, hey, you know what, let's just get weird and have fun. And like, I think the team and everyone involved kind of had fun with it because of that. So I don't even know what the footage looks like on the camera, but I think we already achieved what we wanted to achieve because we created an experience for everybody, and it was super, just a fun thing to be a part of, so.
We are coming together quite nicely. The carbon copies are pretty crazy. I've definitely been seeing Jake do some tricks that Jake's never done before.
We knew Jake had to be involved. Jake is the Red Bull rider. He only had like 2 days that he could actually shoot. So we were like, okay, we'll come to Nashville. I already live here. Jake lives here. Like, we'll just have the other guys come here and we'll do it here. But we also knew that the weather could possibly be pretty bad at this time of year. And we were right. I mean, it was like 30 degrees. Like, I had to drive home literally like in an ice storm after the first night that everyone got here. Yeah, it was pretty heavy. So I'm glad like we decided to do it indoors, and that all worked out pretty good. We couldn't really start shooting until 8 p.m. every night, and then we had a lot of like moving parts, so it was like getting everything for each scene kind of like all together it was a little challenging at times, kind of like herding cats in some ways. And then just not being able to like see what you're filming, you know, like I mean, who knows what's on that tape, you know? It's like, it is what it is, and who knows, man. We'll see what the footage actually looks like. But it was really trippy, honestly. There was times where I was trying to like find Jake, to actually talk to Jake, and I would go up to the wrong Jake, like Mitchell or someone else that was dressed as Jake, and be like, Jake. I was like, oh man, all right. And I'd like go and find the real Jake, but it was really kind of trippy, dude. Everyone had the same exact outfit on, and like we got all Red Bull to send us the hats for everybody, and Strictly Effects, which is a visual effects company here in Nashville. This dude Grant came through, and he's a fan of skateboarding, and he skated back in the day, and like he was just like, hey, like I'm down. We didn't really like have that much budget for what he would normally charge, but he was just like, hey, I'm down, like let's do this, which was really cool. So he gave us like, you know, lasers and smoke and fog and confetti cannons, and we had like a snow machine, just like all kinds of crazy stuff. Wow. Oh my God, dude. The balloons idea was to fill up the mini ramp with balloons. We knew Nathaniel and the guys over here at Sixth Ave have done that before. And so we contacted the guy that normally does that for them, and we filled up the mini ramp with balloons, and that's like the opening scene. And it just looked so cool just from my eye. I was like, man, this is awesome. The dudes were like trying to skate, and the balloons were breaking, and they could not see their feet at all. They were just covered in balloons, and they couldn't even see like the lip of the ramp a lot of times. It was just balloons flying everywhere.
The balloon situation, that was like way scarier than I thought it was gonna be, just because it's like, I've never skated around a bunch of balloons. I mean, I knew what to expect a little from like what Joe had explained to me about what we were doing, but like I didn't really know entirely what to expect. Like him saying it versus us actually executing the whole situation, it's two different things. It's very different.
I couldn't see anything at all.
The only strategy was just do what I was told when I was told to do it. And I've had a couple of hiccups, but I think I've been doing all right. I mean, everyone really has. Everyone's been doing everything they need to do, like when they need to do it. So it's been turning out really great.
They made it happen, you know, and John took an insane slam. We actually filmed the first take good, but I felt like I didn't have the camera high enough to like see past the balloons. So I was like, let's just do one more just for safety. Sure enough, like John, he completely got in wrong and still tried to pull it and ended up just like flat on his back on the bottom of the ramp. Yeah. I thought it was super bad, honestly, when it happened. But maybe the balloons helped, I don't know. He got up and then made it happen, I think, on like the next try. I think Lee actually was like, hey, if you land this next one, I'll get you a free sauna session or whatever. So yeah, he pulled it off. It got a little sketchy, but ultimately it worked out. It's definitely tough because you're just like, you can't push record until the perfect moment, and the timing of everything has to be right with what we're doing. So it's definitely tough to pull off the challenge of like, are we going to be able to get the whole thing? Because if it ends in the middle, like if the tape ends and we're not to the end, the finish line, we're going to have to be creative when we end it. But we got John over here.
What's up, dude?
Hey, everybody.
Parts of it were scary. The balloons were pretty scary, but everybody's been super connected. So having a good production, I'd say.
We had John Gardner in a gorilla suit. John skates in a gorilla suit, and then like in the next trick that happens in the piece, he's normal John, and he does like a nose bonk on a laptop. So it's kind of funny, like the orchestrated sort of aspect of it. I had this coffee table at my house that was on wheels. I've been trying to get rid of it, and I was like, I think we could use this somehow, and kind of cooked up this idea of like someone's like on a computer, and then when they lift their coffee up, someone wheels the laptop away and someone nose bonks the laptop. And there was this girl on rollerblades here with like this like sparkly helmet and like a fur jacket and stuff, skating at Sixth Ave before the park closed. And I was like, man, what if she would do it, you know? So we asked, and she was super down and just awesome. And it turned out her name is Coco Sanchez, and she's a pro rollerblader. She was awesome. She ended up coming the next night and being in the shoot again and stuff. So it was really cool. Lee had this idea to use breakaway bottles to have like some people smashing them over their heads, and we came up with the idea of having the Jakes all smashing bottles on each other's head. But we didn't realize that the liquid would actually like melt the bottles, so when we actually got to that shot, some of the like water was coming out the bottom of the bottles and stuff. When Jake first picked up his, it was like almost like water already coming out of it, and then he like smashed it. So hopefully it looks okay on camera, but just in the nick of time, we got that shot done before all the bottles just disintegrated. And that shot was funny because it was one and done. We were like, there's no do-overs on this. Like if one of these bottles breaks or one person does the broken bottle, like the whole thing has to work from that point on, because we only had like 6 or 7 of these bottles and that was it. So we couldn't like redo the shot, you know, so it was funny. Jake's just typical Jake. Like they were like, oh, it's made out of sugar. Like you could probably eat this. And Jake's like, oh, you can eat this? Like, and tried to eat it. And I think he regretted that pretty quickly.
Sugar based. Oh, he doesn't like it, never mind.
Everything worked out pretty well in the grand scheme of things. We actually had space on the tape, like after we were done with our shoot that we had planned, because we were so well planned out and thought out from the get-go. It was kind of like we were a lot more efficient than I kind of thought we were going to be. I mean, we had like a lot of late nights filming this thing, and people were here till 2, 3 in the morning, and you know, we had all these like Jake imposters that were like dressed like Jake, and they were just like in costume the whole night. And like I said, we really wanted this sort of like vibe with like live music going on for the whole thing, and we wanted it to be kind of like jazzy, like drums. And I asked Nathaniel here at Sixth Ave if he knew anybody, and he put us in touch with Leighton, who is just like this amazing drummer, it turns out. We had no idea. And the day of the shoot, he was like, hey, I kind of think I have something cooked up for you guys. We went into the studio here, and he just starts drumming, and I was like, dude, that's perfect. Like it was just so good. And then we got Gabe Crumby, who's also a local here, who rips on guitar, and he's in some of the scenes playing guitar. It was just so cool to see the whole community come together. We had like all these people here helping out. We're skating the mini ramp, and like balloons are flying out, and we had Nakia and like a bunch of other people that were just like on the sidelines, just kind of like throwing balloons back into the ramp, you know. And like every take, it was like, and I got the camera in my hand, and I'm trying to like do it as well. When I have to come out of the mini ramp, they slide a piece of plywood out of the way so that I can like make my way out of the mini ramp to get to the next scene. Everyone from the whole Sixth Ave and Rocketown team really accommodating us and letting us do this here, and like letting us use the coffee shop and the venue and the whole skate park and like everything. It was just like, it was really cool, man. It was just like, it was a connection of like us as a team and a brand with the local like Nashville skate scene and everything that's going on here at Sixth Ave. And I think there were a lot of like lifelong bonds that were made and created. And I know that like I talked to Maurio about it, and I talked to Tom and John about it, and they were all really impressed. And I think they all felt that like in their heart as well. That was just like, man, this was like so cool to be a part of something like this, where it was like an interesting, unique project, but we brought all these people together and they got to make these connections. And yeah, I don't think enough can be said about that. It was really special.
It feels like the whole city of Nashville has brought each and every one of their talents to like make this video crazy. So like there's like an entire city like in this video too. Like everyone who has some sort of talent is here. So I'm confident that we've definitely got something here. So I think it could win.
If we win, that's awesome, but like that's not really on the top of my mind. It's more of just like, let's do something really cool that we can be proud of and have a good time. And it was just a really unique, interesting shoot. But I think if the footage comes out, it's gonna be really cool, regardless. I think it's gonna be really cool and different and unique, and just stoked to see it all come out.
Things been going on.
That was a wrap. Hey, that's a wrap, I think.
That's a wrap?
I believe so. It's a big day right now. We just got the footage for the Red Bull No Rewind contest. I'm gonna open it up right now, and I'm gonna check out the footage, and we'll see how it looks. Yes! Oh my gosh, dude. Here goes Jake, backside ollie. I don't think that's the one, is it? It is! Maurio kickflip fakie. John Gardner, top rope. And it came out! Yes, dude! Oh my gosh, I'm so hyped. This makes me so happy. Here's the final scene. Beautiful nollie flip. Beautiful nollie heel by Tom Asta. And then the whole gang just going for it. Icing on the cake right here. The happy 50th cake. And then I went to the supermarket and I felt like such a weirdo, but I was trying to film textural stuff that we could put on the green screen scenes. And there was like this lady at the deli counter like, what the heck is this guy doing? So dumb. I wonder if the people that were logging this footage over at Red Bull were like, what the heck did they spend their tape on? I cannot wait to start cutting this footage up because now I see that there is actually footage to be cut up. So check back in later. All right, so got the footage and I've been working on this edit for a few days now and I'm feeling really, really stoked. One of the things that we wanted to achieve with this edit was to like make it look seamless. And one of the ways that we're doing that is basically we thought about it beforehand and we're like, all right, how do we stitch these scenes together? This one was really hard. Transitioning out of this first Too Many Jakes scene into John Gardner going bananas. Originally, if you go to the previous shot, it's perfectly framed up, center of camera. And if you go to the second shot, I was filming it a little lower. And I could not find a place where these two shots matched up. What I did was I zoomed in and I added keyframes here. And then on the second shot, I did the same thing, zoomed in to out. You know, when you zoom in on it, you lose the vignette that the fisheye creates. I basically took one of these shots and I brought it into After Effects and just traced around the vignette, and we'll bring that opacity back up. And that, honestly, that one I was so stoked when I made that one work because that was giving me so much grief. You see John rolling away in the corner on shot number 1, and then when it gets to shot number 2, there's no John. You have John in the corner and you have my shadow here. I basically made a mask around the shadow and around John. He's still in the shot rolling away. My shadow's still in the shot. And boom, there you have it. And that, to me, in my head, that makes it look a lot more seamless. The whole purpose of the edit is to make it look like not a lot of work went into it. But really, it's like I'm spending hours on these little cuts trying to make them look seamless. So it's kind of a weird paradox, if you will. But it's a cool tool to have in your kit when you're working on edits and stuff. So I don't know, hope you got some interest out of this, and I'm gonna keep working on this edit and hopefully it all comes out super smooth. To have that community come together and connect with Maurio and Tom and John Gardner and Jake. I mean, Jake's obviously a fixture in this community already, but you know, it just felt like bigger than like a contest. It was like an immersive experience where those guys got to connect with Nashville and see what Nashville's about in a short period of time and get to hang with this community. And I think that they like developed some sort of connection with this community and vice versa that will last far beyond, you know, any of this content. You know, when you get to make those connections, it's a positive thing.
You asked for it.
It's such a solid cake. 50 years tastes pretty good.
Thanks for checking out this video. Click subscribe.
Make sure to hit the subscribe button and
make sure you hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the newest Santa Cruz videos.
Subscribe to the Santa Cruz YouTube channel.
Leave a like, drop a comment, check out the other videos on the Santa Cruz YouTube, and have a good day, guys.